Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local.
So now on to you, David, for the third item today, which is coming out of Andrew Shotland's blog, Local SEO Guide, about click-throughs and their impact on rankings. So take that away.
Yeah, it's Content Week at Local SEO Guide, apparently, because he's also put out a study that I think Bill would be very interested to read if he were still here, around the need for or the degree to which exact match business names can help influence rankings. So that's an aside. That was a different topic. But this morning he was out with a pretty timely post on the impact of the baby formula shortage on, I presume, one of his clients, which he didn't name, but where he's showing the radical increase in rankings for a particular page on a client's website that is talking about baby formula. Over the last, X number of weeks, he said the page was on page 2+, and it's now, skyrocketed up to the top handful of results. And so his theory is, which I think is a really interesting theory, and in my mind, it is as likely as any other theory I can come up with. His theory is that, okay, all of these big enterprise national retailers, Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, whatever, are completely out of baby formula. The search volume for baby formula is off the charts now because of all the shortages and what's in the news. And so people are clicking a result on, say, Walmart.com. Walmart is out of it. They hit the back button. They go to the next result. They see Amazon's out. They hit the back button. And so Google is ingesting all of these bad user experience in quotes, experiences, and promoting sites further up the list that don't have those bad click-through signals. And so this flies in the face of a lot of what Google representatives have said in the past, that click-through rate doesn't influence position and all of that stuff, which I've always found to be at best splitting hairs with their definition of click-through rate and user experience. And it certainly, Rand Fishkin did an experiment to disprove all of that propaganda at MozCon, I don't know, at this point, probably 6 or 7 years ago, where he had 2,000 people in the MozCon audience, click the same result for a certain search term, that actually moved the position of that result within the same 45 minutes of his talk.
In real time.
Oh, wow. And so it's been very clear. There's been enough examples of this that the click-through rate has a significant impact, that I think this is just one more example of
although, as you point out, it might not be specifically the click-through rate. It might be site, the linger rate, or the whatever, right? It's like Google tends to split those hairs with intentional obfuscation. So
that's right.
It might have not been the click-through, right? So who knows what the actual signal is? It doesn't matter in practice. It's what happens.
Well, I think
anyway. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
No, David, finish.
I'm getting a weird delay on
what I was going to say is
recording system.
What I was going to say is that it's an effective way for Google to deal with the problem, right? If these places have this in inventory and the other ones don't, the movement of people to these lower ranking sites indicates they do, and Google responds appropriately to everybody's well-being.
Well,
yeah. So I think Andrew's advice for sites who are in this kind of, he calls it the panic buying sort of moment. And he noted that he had seen it with hand sanitizer previously back in, March 2020 or April 2020. That I think his advice for brands here is really sound, which is to, first of all, try to capture information from consumers before they bounce back to Google. Don't lose that click, offer them a discount for a future purchase or for a related purchase, like in this case, diapers or whatever, to try to keep them on the, try to at least keep them in your funnel. And then the second thing is, some sort of truly like a marketing initiative to identify what you're doing to address the shortages and to promote the fact that you are, empathetic to this problem, and that you're trying to, make things at least a little bit better for customers who are buying other baby related supplies So I thought both of those were really, really great pieces of advice, and just the case study itself was interesting, as was his theory. So really great post to check out if you've got a few minutes this weekend.
So, I mean, one of the things that's interesting is that if the time on site or the linger rate or whatever the term of art would be, putting that additional content on those sites will boost that time and give Google the signal that this is a better experience or whatever. So that's kind of an interesting way to trick Google in a certain sense. So.
And more importantly, not lose the customer in the,
yes,
for the long term.
I mean, that's ultimately what you want to do, is you want to deliver a better experience to the customer. You should be focused on the customer. I wonder how product inventory factors into this at all. I mean, I don't know if anybody's feeding baby formula as a kind of a real-time inventory to the extent that anybody has it into the
we talked about this on a recent Near Memo, right? That we actually do think inventory, in-stock inventory at local businesses will influence how well.
Well, it should. It absolutely should.
Yeah,
it absolutely should. I mean, that's something that's really consistent with intent. If somebody is looking for a particular product or brand, if you've got that and Google has that information, it absolutely should influence rank.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess we've come to the end of another exciting Near Memo with sad news, of course, about Bill. Please subscribe to Near Media, the Near Media newsletter. And I don't know, you guys want to say anything before we go this week?
Just remember to reach out to those you love.
Yes, absolutely.
And even those that you don't reach out to that often.
Say I love you to your family and friends, and appreciate them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you next week.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.